Before the video starts, I just wanted to note that a lot of people watching my videos aren't even subscribed, so please subscribe. It's free and you can change your mind whenever you want. Enjoy the video.
Hello guys, Tristan here, back with another video, and today, since you've been asking for this, I will be showing you a tutorial on how to build this dual disc out of cardboard and materials at home. Let's get started. So, you're going to need a lot of cardboard, and you're going to need specifically two types of cardboard. The thick regular cardboard that you normally find in boxes like this pizza box, and then there's the slightly thinner cardboard that you find in things like cereal boxes and crackers and stuff like that. So the thinner and the thicker cardboard are both required for best effect. You're also going to need scissors, an X-Acto knife or some sort of sharp cutting tool, duct tape, which is only optional for design purposes, and lots and lots of paint. You're going to need a lot of paint. You're also going to need a glue gun or any sort of adhesive that you think works best on cardboard. First thing I do is typically measure the card, and that way I can determine how big I want my slots to be. Typically a card sleeve is about 6.5 centimeters in width. It's also just over 9 centimeters in height. That way we can determine both upward position like this, like in attack mode, and defense mode. Once you have the measurement of your card, you're going to have to get yourself a pencil and trace on your cardboard in a way that you like. The first part of the dual disc that we're going to make is the main board, where all your cards actually go, like the attack mode and stuff like that, monsters and spells and traps, all go on the main board. Now for me, the main board is usually split into two parts, and I'll show you exactly how I made the board. So this trapezoid shape that I've now outlined for you guys is basically the top of this section here, only not the exact top. So this is what we're going to be making first. As you can see, we got a large line here that's 30 centimeters, a large line in here that's 22 centimeters, and these lines that connect the parallel lines. And we have a trapezoid shape here, and we got 3 centimeters off here, 5 centimeters off here. This line here is 15 centimeters. This line's 14 or 14.5 centimeters roughly. And then the line that connects the two parallel lines is 14 centimeters, just like that. Next, you're going to want to find the placement of your cards. This is about what it is. As you can see here, this would be if they were in defense mode, but we're always going to make sure that the measurements of the slots of the cards are slightly larger than the cards themselves, so they fit more nicely. Okay, so I've added the card slots. As you can see, the card just would sit there usually, or like this. This is the spells or traps. Now I also added a little bit of a angle on these sides because it makes it easier to just slide the card in. Basically, you're going to cut out this, and this. I made this little line here to demonstrate how when you put it in, the top edge of the card here never goes past that line. And same in defense mode, it never goes past the line. It gets stopped by the section. So if you need to know the exact measurement of this line here is 7 centimeters. This line here is 7.5 centimeters. This line here is 10 centimeters. And the separation between these two and these are 1 centimeter, like this. And same with here. Now it's time to cut out your shape. Just a quick note, before you cut out your spell and traps, you might want to keep them on because you're going to be measuring with this to make another one, sort of like a stencil, because if you cut them out, it might be harder to do that. So you're going to cut out 2 exact shapes of this to make 3 in total. Now that you have your 3 different sections of this board with the thick cardboard, you're now going to want to add your spell and trap zone to one of them. Don't do it to the other because that will be the underside cover of it. I marked it with marker. And then you want to continue to trace out the shape of the card, but the length has to be just a little bit shorter than the card itself, because you want it to stick out just like this, about that distance. That way your card doesn't get stuck in the spell and trap zone. You can just pull it right out. It doesn't go all the way in like that, just like that. Now all you gotta do is cut it out. Now that you have all of them cut out, you want to now get your thinner cardboard. So you can use this piece that hasn't been cut at all, and you're going to use it as a stencil to make 2 more pieces the exact same shape and size using the thinner cardboard. Okay, so now we have our 2 pieces, one that has nothing on it right yet, and then there's this one which I've marked to be slightly different from the top piece. This is actually going to sit on top of the top piece, but as you can see, I've marked it a little bit where there's a little extra protruding square here, and here. I've also marked the spell trap zones for this top section, and I've made it so when you lift it up, these are going to be cut out, and you're going to essentially put it on top, and it's going to be the cover. That way the cards aren't just sitting there easy to fall off, they'll actually be stuck inside something. You'll understand what I mean when we cut it out and attach them. Other piece, you're just going to cut out the spell and trap parts, but not the full sections, just the small sections that you got on the top layer here. So the order of the layers is this right here. So as you can see, we got this thin layer. You can also mark these with a marker to make sure you got the right order. So that's 1, this is 2, another thin one is 3, this one with the full spell traps cut out is 4, and this last one that doesn't have anything cut out of it is 5. Before we make the other part of the board, you're going to want to trim off these little edges here, and it'll look a little bit something like this. This is exactly what you're looking for. Just a little bit of the underside showing. Here are the measurements for the first section of the other section, the other board. So you got your 13.5 centimeter line here, 15 centimeter line here, and you got your 38 centimeter parallel to your 35 centimeter lines, with a 3 centimeter line coming off here, with the cross section of 14 centimeters, making the width 14 centimeters, and the length in total being somewhere around 38 or 40 centimeters. Once you cut out 3 more of the 3 in total, you want 3 in total of the thick cardboard of these shapes, and you want to have your sections cut out, but instead of having 2, you're gonna have 3, and it should fit just nicely. You can actually fit this however you want, but it should fit just like that. So cut out your sections and your spell and trap sections on the middle one. Okay, so massive mess all around me right now, but we finally got our 5 other layers for this bigger section cut out, as you can see, and it would just go like that. We're not going to actually put them together yet because we need to actually design them, decorate them, paint them, do whatever. Now, this is an idea that I have that you don't have to do, it's optional, but I think it's just great that if you take your third layer or the middle layer where your cards will usually sit, your monster cards, to make it smoother, you can wrap this whole thing in tape. Oh, foot shot. Nice duct tape to make it look nice and shiny. Sort of like here with the paint, only it's a little bit better because it's duct tape. It's nice and smooth, good for your cards. It doesn't like damage it, and none of the paint rubs off on your cards. You don't have to do this side though. You just have to do the side that your card's gonna be on. Now that you've taped it exactly how you want to, you can go ahead and paint each of your individual pieces of cardboard. Okay, so as you can see, I've spray painted all the parts with a nice sort of bronze copper color, a little bit of a metallic in it, and it works really well. It's not going to look perfect, not until it's completely cured, and even after it's cured, I'm going to add some stuff to it to make it even better looking, and some other details, of course. So these are the parts. Whenever you're using spray paint, remember to leave it for at least 24 hours, maybe even longer, depending on the setting and depending on the paint. You can now take your hot glue and very carefully and just be very like neat with it. You don't want any to be stuck on the sides. You'd want it to be very clean. Like you want to sometimes pull the gunk off. You want it to be nice, even finish. Glue all your pieces together if you need to. When you think the glue is almost dry, take something heavy and put it on top of it as just a weight so that the glue doesn't unstick, because every now and then cardboard and hot glue sometimes don't go together and they will unstick. So just make sure to do that, and then when your pieces are all together, we'll move on to the next step. Give it a couple minutes, maybe a couple hours even. While we wait for the paint to dry, I can show you guys how to make the arm cuff or the gauntlet part of the dual disc. Now for this, you'll need some sort of cylindrical shape, usually made of plastic, maybe metal if you have some sort of can. Just be ready to cut it, and maybe if you're not good at cutting things and you don't want to get hurt, have a parent help you. You'll need scissors and an X-Acto knife and a old sock. This is optional, but it does help with the grip, and it just makes it so much more comfortable on your arm. Now I decided to use a plastic bottle because it's easy to use, because it just bends so nicely. It's soft, and it's probably not going to break as easily as metal, and it won't get all dented if it's metal. So I just, I highly suggest that you use plastic, like some sort of bottle, and it has to fit your wrist. It doesn't have to fit your entire arm, but it would be probably better if it was a little bit bigger than this. So cut your bottle into its cylinder, getting rid of the top and the bottom. Now this won't fit on my arm, so we're going to have to cut a big line across like that. And this is what it looks like when it's on your arm. It just, sort of goes there. It's not very tight right now, but that's because we haven't put the sock around it yet. So now you're going to use your scissors and your sock, and you're going to cut holes out of the foot of your sock to make holes for your fingers and your thumb. Not gonna lie, this is actually pretty badass. If you want to add something to this to make it look even cooler, go ahead. It's your own project. Okay, so put your cuff back on your arm, and then you're going to sort of pull the end of your sock down over the cuff. And now it looks something like this. It kind of looks like a cast for some reason. Okay, so now that you've taken that off, you're going to have to get some screws. Now, I know that there's probably better ways to adhesive this to your dual disc at some point. In fact, the deck base, which I haven't actually shown you guys how to make, it is completely up to you, but just letting you know that this is the way I'm doing it. Now that the dual disc is completely assembled and we have all of our parts together, I just have to do some touch-ups, such as some more paint in some areas and possibly cutting some parts a little bit. Like right here is a little rough, but this is essentially the final product, and I hope you guys didn't have too much trouble with this. And if you enjoyed this video, please remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Go check out my other videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and peace out.